Welcome back to Studio Source. We took a long break. What was the last one? October?
Yes.
Yeah, long break. But
I think it came out in November. The last podcast we put out, I think, was December. Because Sarah Bryce.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so maybe not as long as I was thinking, but we took a minute.
Longer than we should. Yeah. Because we teach consistency.
And here we are. What is it? Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Do what I say, not what I do.
But we're busy. We're busy doing this.
Yeah.
Podcasting. We're busy helping people create podcasts. We're busy editing, but, we're trying to get back on the wagon.
And to get back on the wagon, we've got probably our most ambitious, inspiring, put together ladies on our team in our cache of members to introduce y'all back into the Studio Source 2025.
Yeah. We've discovered that we are in a mixed bag of a lot of different niches. We are a local travel podcast, as you can see with the episode with Rudy. So if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Support your public library.
We are a influencer and creator economy. That's one of our niches, influencer and creator economy, which is where we talk to influencers and creators and podcasts alike, show you into their life, how they create content, how they've been successful, how to get into content creation, all of that. So, and our last niche is, what was it?
Wellness?
No, it was, podcast and marketing insights. So we do that from time to time, and you will get some of that too. But we realize we're more than just one thing.
Yeah. It's very hard to pin it down, actually. That was honestly part of what our break, quote unquote, was that we had no idea how to narrow it down.
Yeah.
And it's very ambitious to try and reach 30 plus different niches in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
It's not typically what we teach.
I mean, first episode was our marketing and podcast insights.
Yeah.
Like I said, Rudy. And then Sarah Bryce was our content creator. And, of course, you're going to see more of that in these upcoming episodes.
We're very excited. So today's episode is the one and only Jas Kirk, our sweet, sweet host of Comfortable Conversations. She's here with us every other Friday early in the morning. Beautiful lady, very talented, has a lot of good things to say. So...
Full of wisdom. And style.
Yeah, she's a very, very complex individual. You don't see that a lot. Everyone has a backstory, but not a lot of people do anything with that. And I think she does. I think she does very well with that.
And I love her show.
Absolutely.
I am tasked with editing it. So go check it out. Go support Hello Studios. Go support Jas. And let's just get into it.
Yeah, straight into it. Let's go. Hi, Jas.
Hi.
How are you?
Amazing.
It's so interesting getting to sit down with you instead of just being the one to set up your camera.
I know. I love interacting with you guys, so it's exciting to see you on this side of things.
Right?
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah.
And it's cold. It's so cold outside today, but you still came up here, so we thank you for that.
I'm born and raised in Chicago,
exactly.
So this beast is just cute to me.
Right. And that's what I was going to ask you. How has the transition been, transitioning from Chicago? And I don't know how long ago it was, but tell us a little bit about, that transition from Chicago to Dallas.
It was really hard. So I moved here 5 years ago this year. And I already was in a very transitional place in my life, so I didn't know God was shedding me as I was moving, and that's a lot to move to a new city, meet new people, even if you have friends here. Was so shell-shockingly new, even down to the weather, Chicago winters, summertime shy. The city comes alive. To Dallas, hell hot all the time.
All the time. At all 4 seasons.
Constantly.
I'm literally surprised about this weather right now.
Yeah.
3 whole days of this. And then
it shifts. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's very interesting. But I feel like I've found I'm firmly planted here now that I don't have to do the like run back and never feel like I'm home. I do feel home here.
Oh, that's good. That's always good when, you know, you're a transplant from somewhere, but it feels like home now.
Yeah.
You know, that's really cool. What do you do professionally? We kind of want to know that because
Yeah.
we only know you as the podcaster.
You just know that you got money somehow.
So let's start there.
So
Most people don't know what I do, or like they kind of have an idea, but all they say is Jas gets money. Like, at least she pays her bills, gets money, and doesn't ask other people for money.
and really, that's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wear a lot of hats. So I am the CEO and founder of HunniDuoe, which is my mental wellness brand. I also am a real estate professional. I've been in real estate for 12 plus years. And I'm venturing into the development side of things. I've never been a real estate agent, so I always try to lead with that, because when people think real estate, they think buying a home, they think a broker, and I've always been on the operational management side of commercial residential real estate. So yeah, it's within being in that world that I learned like I had a passion for something else. In order for me to also be a podcaster, my God-gifted talent, so that third hat I wear, is speaking. And I love it, and it's effortless. So I know I do seem to do a lot of things, but they really don't take energy out of me that I can give in all these different arenas, and not feel depleted at the end of the day.
That just means
that's amazing.
Yeah. I wish. That just means you love literally everything you do. That's like a dream life. Putting that all to play, like everything I love, I make money from.
Yeah, I get to do, and it's, it took time to get there. Honestly, I would contribute it to like losing my brother due to suicide, and like when that happened, it made me realize like you only have one life and you have today to live it. And if you do everything you want in today, like if you want that soft life, just live life softly. Like that's it. Like it doesn't have to be overcomplicated, and get around the right people. Because I think that was the biggest reason why I never felt like I could have everything. It was because I was around people who made me seem like, well, everything you want is unobtainable. You can't have it all.
Yeah.
And you can actually have it all if you just start stepping in each lane. The paths meet. So
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned your brother, because you always mention him in your podcast episodes. And I just feel like that's your way of, I don't know how to say it. That's your way
Honoring,
of,
I guess.
yeah, I like to honor his name.
Yeah.
I feel like
I love when you bring him up.
I always say Daniel's name because he's like my guardian angel, and I think everybody has somebody, if they're alive or if they've passed, that just really inspires them and like speaks to them in a way. And so I always promised myself I would leave a legacy for him and let his name mean something. And so if I bring him up all the time, people have to say his name. So, yeah.
That's really pretty. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I don't have anything else to say about that other just I like that. And not to like shift gears. So, you know, hey Daniel, how you doing? But what inspired Comfortable Conversations, your podcast?
Ooh, I love you guys are asking me this because I've recently been thinking like people really need to understand why I call it Comfortable Conversations. I actually have always had an overwhelmingly amount of deep, soulful conversations with a lot of people, and that isn't just friends or family. I mean, I could be walking down the street and someone feels compelled to say hello to me and like randomly want to ask me a question and tell their story, or I can be in an Uber or sitting at the bar, and I mean like people will tell me like something that's really deep. And so really the comfortable conversations are uncomfortable things that you typically don't find yourself talking about. Even when I used to go to the club, people are drinking, partying, and someone wants to tell me like, the deepest story. And I'm like, first of all, like in the bathroom sitting, the bottle's coming out, and I'm like,
So
bro,
I can't
like,
even hear you right now.
Can't. But and I sat with that. I was like, what is God? Like usually I don't close people off. I'm like, what is God trying to reveal here?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've leaned into that. So phone calls, I can sit on the phone with someone for like an hour.
Oh, that's good.
And like people just pour their souls. And so I started to think, wow, what if we record this? Honestly, I didn't think that. A dear friend was like, you should have a podcast 4 years ago. And I was like, yeah, sure. But then I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I would talk about. And people have always told me, like, when you speak, you're really inspiring. And sometimes I wish I recorded the conversation we had. So I was like, well, we're going to.
Yeah,
we're about to.
In one of these days, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's good.
Well, to steal a page from your book, it's got a very classic question for you. Come on, right off of that. What discomfort led you to where you are today?
The discomfort that led to this version of me was my brother's suicide really like created this shift, but a breakup that happened in 2023 that felt like I lost my voice.
God, it's always a man, isn't it?
But I felt broken open in such a way that I said, I will never not speak my truth. I
Absolutely.
will never betray myself in such a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent time recognizing a version of me was dying because she was like,
girl, I feel you.
Yeah.
It broke me open. Like it broke me open in such a way that I couldn't put those pieces back together. But the confidence, the speaking, that like most people knew me to be like Jas, like even when y'all think of me, and I was like, I didn't have it. And so when I regained my strength, my confidence, everything, I was like, it's time. Mm-hmm. And you are, once again, that moment, like that happened with my brother. I was like, you're out of time and not standing 100% in who you are. So it was like, I had no other choice than to now be her and now speak. And I'm like, even if you don't feel like you have the best words, you're going to open your mouth and speak up.
I love that. Oh, now I resonate with that so heavily because I think I realized I was heartbroken like a little while ago.
Whatever.
Topic for another day, girl.
But that strength that comes from it is like really special. And I'm glad that you harnessed it and wrapped it up and
did
into
all
the
that,
world.
yeah.
So that's really cool.
Oh yeah. I it's interesting because I will always have love for that man because I'm like the version that I became after you. Thank you for gifting me a mirror of myself and then shattering it so I can never be that version of me again. That toned down, let me be who you need me to be, perfect woman. Hate her.
Yeah.
Don't like her.
Loved her for who she was.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least I know I could do that, but I won't be doing it again.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. Back. Yeah.
So, HunniDuoe, how did you come about putting that together, starting it? Like, where did the idea come from?
So before HunniDuoe was HunniDuoe, it was Health Inspires Beauty. I used to live in Florida, and I had a Pinterest board that was called Honey, just the regular like drizzle honey on something, and Duo, D-U-O. Mm-hmm. And it was like my dream board where I would sit at home and I would just dream all day. And like Pinterest has an addiction component to
exactly.
it. Like,
I had to get off it.
Like you pinning your life and not living life. But it was the moment where I was like, I want something different. And when my brother passed, I was like, it's time to start like putting Health Inspires Beauty at the time into something real.
Yeah.
Like, so I started with events. I shot big. I was like, I want brand sponsors and all of this. And I just started connecting people and like translating work to lifestyle balance. Mm-hmm. But mental health, mental wellness was always the undertone. And then at some point I was like, Health Inspires Beauty is way too long.
Yeah.
Health
And
Inspires
it's not
Beauty
like a cute
is not
acronym
cool
either.
Yeah, it wasn't. So I was like,
It made me think of HEB.
Yeah. HIB.
HIB.
It's not cute. It's not
Yeah.
cool. It's like I had a bag created, and the way we designed it was really cool. But in my heart, I was like, something's not. There's a disconnect how people can relate to this as a brand. And so I spent a year like, I want a cool name. I really wish I had a cool name. And then 2021 came when I actually officially established. I was in Spokane, Washington, and I was in a bed just like sitting there like, this name is here. I feel it, because the entire concept came to me like fleshed out for a business. And I went back to that Pinterest board that I've had since 2015, and I had the previous year studied the root of words. And for an entire year, I studied the root of words. And then I went back to HunniDuoe, and I was like, well, what's the root of honey?
Yeah.
And so the root of honey in French, if you spell it HUNNI, is you are strong. And then DUO, I was like, duo. And then I played with duo, and I was like, duo has no cool root word. And I started adding letters to it. And the root of DUOE in French is gifted and talented. So I was like, I have my name, and I've always had the name. It's crazy.
You've always had it. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And you just had to like, it's probably always
explore.
there, you know?
Yeah. Everything really is right within us. It's not outside of us where you reach. If you go within, it's there, and it's always been there. Like, life is just waiting for you to like pay attention to it.
Yeah. So, HunniDuoe, we love her. She's here now. Yeah. There was a time that you wanted to give her up. What was that experience like, and how did you get through it?
I will always release something and like be a believer in like, if it comes back to you, it's meant. Anytime I've ever thought like, oh, this is really hard, am I doing it right? I am surrounded by people who remind me if I need to put it down for a little bit, that's okay. But this is for you. And that's essentially what happened. I had started trying to deactivate the pages, transition everything. And I reached out to Fab. She's a creative director. And I was like on a walk crying, like, this is the end. Like, HunniDuoe, I'm just going to be a real estate professional the rest of my life. Like, you know, not a dreamer businesswoman. Yeah. And I text her like, hey, you know, HunniDuoe's ending. Yeah, that's what I text. And she was like, all right, let me know when it's back up and running. And
like, thanks. Yeah.
You know Fab. You're like, you know what? That's so on brand for Fab. Mm-hmm. But I also was like, I'm not going back and forth with her this Sunday, and it's cold, and I'm trying to walk and
in
cry.
In your mind, it wasn't coming back.
Yeah, but I was like, why would she say that? And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to show her it's ending in 28 days. It's deactivated on all social medias. But within those days, like, that fire within me was like, she's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And if anything, everybody, like, that word started coming to me. I really was on the elevator at my building, and someone said, like, HunniDuoe. And I was like, this is kind of creepy.
Yeah, that story was really, magical, because, like, you were really in the thick of, like, about to quit. And you just got on an elevator, and somebody just said the word HunniDuoe, probably referring to, like, actual honeydew, like the melon or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's divine.
It really was. It went crazy. Like, a friend had just said a prayer for me and told me, like, hey, I said this prayer, and it's not like, I hope you get something that, like, get the space that you really want or whatever. But I pray that God gives you the ability to sustain it, because you can get anything, but sustaining it is really what matters. And I was like, dang, that's a deep prayer. And then I get on the elevator, and somebody says HunniDuoe, and I was like, whoa, God, you're funny.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy.
It's very coincidental. I think I would have lost my mind a little bit.
I have these serendipities all the time that it's like, it's that inner, like, pull that you're like, this is for certain. You don't have to question it anymore. Yeah.
That's awesome. So HunniDuoe, mental wellness, and you'll have to explain that a little bit more here in a second. Okay. But for your own personal life, you did some research on you. you're a runner. You're a cardio girl.
Yeah.
Why? Because I think of all the things that you could do to get that exercise in, to get those chemicals going, like I'm going kickboxing. Like I don't see the cardio aspect of it. Why cardio? Why running?
Why running? Cardio, I understand. Why running? Because like it's
hard. Blow y'all mind.
It's hard.
So Jas, circa 2009, I was the girl who went to college and gained my freshman 30 and my sophomore next 30 to a point that I became considered morbidly obese. So I was like almost 200 pounds.
And you're a small little girl too.
Yeah.
So that's like...
yeah. Yes.
200 I can't even see it.
Yeah.
Because I shed it. And
no, I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, I used to be considered morbidly obese. I went to the doctor. And she was like, I really think we should put you on like antidepressants or something like that. And I was like, no.
That's not going to shed the weight. It's going to make it stick longer.
I was depressed.
Yeah.
But I also was like, that's not the way.
Yeah.
And so running years ago became the activity that I didn't feel judged. So I had all this weight. Going to the gym was really hard because you're in the gym, you're overweight. It's already a really hard experience. You're seeing all these other people who are the body image that you want to be, wish to be, or like just whatever. And you think everybody's looking at you, which nobody cares.
Yeah.
But running was the one thing. I'm like, if cars pass, they pass in seconds. So nobody's really thinking. Like I was able to put that thought into action. And so I just started running and walking like crazy. And I started to shed the weight. But during that time, I also began to love heavy jazz instead of hating myself at that weight because I knew I would get it off of me. But I didn't want to become skinny me and still hate me. So there was a lot of work that was happening. So run, it was physical at first, but now it's such a beautiful mental game for me.
That's lovely. I mean,
that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just do it because I have to get out of the house and like suffer for 30 minutes and then,
it's like my sanctuary.
Yeah.
That movement is truly medicine for me.
And running, and also HunniDuoe has led to a lot of brand partnerships. And what has been your favorite brand partner? I mean, not favorite.
There are some
top
tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to like.
Of course, I became
your relationships with them.
No, I tend to partner with. I'm very intentional with everything that I do, including brand partnerships. I've never partnered with a brand that I was like, ugh, sucks. I've always had brand partners that didn't care about the photos and all the like marketing on the other side. They like really bought into like we actually care about our community and their mental well-being. So whenever I sit down with a brand, email them or anything, that buy-in at the beginning is so important. Some brands that I've loved, one is Carbonique. It's a skincare tool, and I was a part of like their brand launch and everything. It's an Italian-made wood, like sculpting face tool, but also body. You can find it on HunniDuoe.com.
Plug.
Quick plug. But I loved learning about that brand and partnering with them. Lululemon, a major ambassadorship that I had. I learned a lot about what it takes to be a brand ambassador, what partnering with a global brand is actually like. And how to maintain your voice within all of that. Boxed Water is another brand that...
I was wondering about that. Yeah. You bring them in almost every time you're here.
Yeah. They were a brand that, like, they sent me 36 cases of water.
Gosh.
I was like, where was I supposed to put all this?
Water goes bad at some point. Like, the cases
No, I mean, it can still last, but I was hosting a run club.
Oh, okay.
So we were using them for that, and then of course with the podcast. But I've had over at this point 150 brands since 2018 who have partnered and said yes.
Yeah.
And I do think the one thing about being like a brand partner, you have to be able to tell your story in your way. And most brands, of course, they're in their market, their industry, and they know who their customer is, but they also do care about people's well-being.
Mhm.
So being able to see that and like make that connection, it makes it boundless for the amount of partnerships that I can have.
And that's amazing because you're still like a nano creator, right? So
Yeah.
people think that you have to have millions of followers to succeed with brands, but it's not true.
You have to be willing to ask.
Yeah.
That is the one thing I learned, even becoming a Lululemon ambassador. I moved here from Chicago, and a good friend told me, like, be thirsty about the things you want. And most people are too, their ego is way too cool to even seem like they really want something. And I'm always like, no, Jas asked for it clearly,
Give,
directly.
please.
You
Yeah.
couldn't misinterpret the question if you wanted to. But I ask, and most people are scared to ask. They think they're too small. They don't have this or that or enough.
Yeah,
And it's
no one will
like,
pay attention to them, kind of deal.
they're $1 million brands. Jas ain't got it, so I know how to ask.
Right.
When I get there, I'll also give back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And I love that you're speaking on this because I wanted to ask, what would you say to people who are struggling to get out of that comfort zone, to ask for what they want, or whether, taking it back to mindfulness and wellness? Like, what do you say to those people who are struggling to just break out?
The thing that differentiates you is that uniqueness.
Mhm.
And until you are willing to see, like, and I'm going to give this example, Dylan, until you own, I have pink hair.
Yeah.
And that is what's going to get me in the front door. You're never going, like, you can't be anybody else. It's not going to work as anybody else. So just be you exactly where you are. If you feel like but I'm not ready, that's the perfect time, because no partnership, no opportunity I ever had was I actually ready. If anything, I was like, oh no.
belong here.
Yeah, but those are the moments that you really do, because help can come. Like I tell my friends all the time, if you ask for help, but you pretend you already have everything, how are you supposed to get help? You
Yeah.
have it all together, and you're telling the universe, God, or whatever, everything's good, so it can't be sent to you. Like people are here to help you, and it's like, it's abundant. I always say that it really truly is abundant.
Yeah. And you really can't see it until you look at it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But can be a long journey for people to even get to that point where they can even see. So that's cool that you're there.
Well,
I love when you speak, because you do speak from that place of like,
I used to not believe in me, but it truly was the people who were around me and that limiting belief of the version of myself that I truly did believe, like, how dare she? Who does she think she is? And when that version of you sits inside and is like, well, fine, I guess you think you're going to do this. Like, okay, girl, but you don't have this, that, and the other. And it's like, can we shut up in the back? I'm
Backseat
doing
driver,
it.
My goodness.
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I would describe as what you're doing right now, thriving, obviously. You're here in Dallas. You're putting down all the paces. You're dressing to impress every single time I see you. I would call this thriving. At one point, though, I imagine that you had a bit of a survival mode going on, even if it was like college or just moving to Dallas, the breakup, that kind of deal. What do you think was the driving factor to get you from survival mode to thriving to where you are now? If you could name 2 or 3, or even just one overarching theme that got you there.
It's a mindset shift, and I now can sit in thriving and believe it. A year ago, even if the outside world said Jas is thriving, I was still in survival mode because I didn't know how to I didn't really understand how to thrive. And the number one thing or tip or takeaway is it's a mindset shift. It really is deciding, like, why do I keep having to believe like a shoe is going to drop, or there's going to come this day that everything is gone when I have everything I want?
Mhm.
Like if I sit in this moment and look around the room, everything I want is here. Or when I wake up in my beautiful apartment, in my bed, and like go make coffee, the making of the coffee is the thing, is the luxury.
Mhm.
The getting out of bed and you're feeling the material of your sheets or your blanket. That is the blessing. And like when that shift happened and I stopped, and granted, like I said, honestly, it took me like last year and my break of like rebuilding and re-strengthening myself that I had to look at everything. And I was like, when I rebuild this version of Jas, I don't want her to keep feeling like she's running 1,000,000 miles a minute. I can run on that tread. I can run on the road. But when I step into everyday life, I'm no longer in survival mode. And it really is the flick switch that you're like, survival, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great. I'm out of the wilderness.
Yeah. So you don't have to be paranoid anymore. You can just relax about it.
And if you stay paranoid, it's the paranoia it never stops. It's a loop. So I was like, getting off the wheel.
Yeah.
See your asses later.
Exactly. So what is today? February 19th?
Yes.
Yeah.
A month and
Some
a half
change.
in.
Yeah, to the new year, 2025. Do you have any New Year's resolutions that you stuck with this far?
Yes, I stopped drinking.
Cool.
That was a health choice. And then the wellness person in me was like, what does 30 days look like? What does 4 months look like? What does 6 months? What does a year? And there are so many benefits. I do enjoy a glass of wine, but now I just put sparkling water in a wine glass and your girl feels the hit.
It has a little fuzz in there.
Yeah, I got a little something. I
Yeah.
get ready and I'm like, not you with your clear water.
Staying hydrated.
Staying on that topic though, what is like your favorite mocktail drink or spritzer? They'll have those fuzzy drinks that have no alcohol in it. Non-alcoholic drinks. They're coming out with like
There's an entire non-alcoholic bar here.
Oh, really?
In Richardson.
Oh, cool. Tell us about it.
It's actually really, really cool because it's like, okay, I don't want to call it a liquor store because it's non-alcoholic liquor, but it's called Beyond the Bar.
Mm.
It's in Richardson. They've been there for years. And literally it's all of these non-alcoholic drinks that even some of them, I'm not even going to lie, that I tried like the tequila that they've created. And I was like, we sure this isn't liquor?
Right.
But it's not. So there's this huge wave in culture shifting to non-alcoholic
exactly.
drinks.
Yeah. All of my friends.
It's a lot of research happening when it comes to anxiety, depression, all of that. Like I personally can share, like I feel a lot less anxious or having those self-loathing moments after drinking, or even like I think a lot of people associate alcoholism with these extremes. Like I'm not the drunk on the street who has a beer in the brown paper bag.
Yeah.
That's not an alcoholic.
No.
They're actually the person every single night that has to have a glass, or like it slowly becomes this thing that you need in your life that becomes the addiction. Not that you assume you're in control, but go a day without it, go a week without it, and you see where your mind goes. And that was the moment that I had. Like I decided to do dry January and I was only a few days in and I was like, I feel like I need to do something. Like being here in this moment is not enough. And I was like, that is a problem. We're going to nip it in the bud. You see it, it's clear. And so my anxiety has been down. And everybody has anxiety and anxious moments, but it's been helping a lot.
Yeah, so instead of the drinking, you get a sparkling glass of water and crochet a little.
Yeah.
Do something with your hands.
Like, man, I've been making mocktails. I'm going to make my friends mocktails. So if they come over. But I also ask them, like, if you want the alcohol, we can make sure to get you the pairing for it. But most of the time they're like, no, I want to have it the way you made it.
Yeah.
So
try something new today. Yeah. That's sweet. Okay. So you have a really awesome friend group, really good support group in Dallas now. You've been here, you said 5 years?
Yeah.
And this could be literally anybody. I'm talking a celebrity. It could be Daniel. It could be anybody else. But who inspires you and how you live your everyday life?
My mom.
Yeah?
I didn't realize that until I did the podcast with Ella, and she asked me, like, your background in wellness, where did you learn that from? And I realized my mom was always very intentional about her health. And like,
shout out Jas mom.
my B, anybody who knows my B, man, my mom, if y'all ever meet her, baby, polar opposite. My mom is like, her personality, the moment she walks in, you're like, she is a trip.
I love that. That's so fun.
That's like, I feel like the kind of personality is dying out. I feel like we're all being too chill about it now. We need to really, I can hear you a mile away. I want to know
that's
that.
my mom.
Yeah.
She wears her feelings on her sleeves. And she's not afraid to be her. And I think it is like so inspiring, and just like how she loves, how she cares about people, how empathetic she is. Like, it's not till you get older that you're like, man, my parent is my friend. Like,
I'm in that process right now where it's like, are we friends or are you still my parents?
Yeah.
Like,
they try to switch,
yeah.
but it's like, we're like, recently I was on the phone, we were all FaceTiming, and we're like, bro, please get off. Like, what are you doing?
I'll ask you about my car insurance, but otherwise we're friends.
We're friends. Are we going to brunch or not? And can you pay?
Please. I know I'm inviting you out shopping, but I need new jeans.
Please still take care of me. The way life will have you fighting for your life. Like, you need a little love from your parents. And I think I say that, share this, because I think people forget, like, I've met someone who shared, like, oh, I'm back living with my parents. And they made it this, like, really shameful thing. And I had to, like, say to them, like, how blessed are you that you have somewhere to go and they're willing to? Because some people, they can't lean on their parents for anything, or they don't have, or they've lost a mom or dad or whomever. And so now I'm, like, super grateful to have her in my life. And my mom, like, her love language is I think her love language is acts of service. Like, I just went and cleaned her house on Sunday for Valentine's Day.
Adorable. Yeah, that's exactly what she needed too.
I did, but I don't, like, I know if she asked me, like, hey, I gotta get a washer and dryer delivered, can you come? Absolutely, I do not want to come. But then,
fine, I guess.
And she's like, don't judge me, my house is a mess. And I was like, no, I'm gonna judge you. You know this. But you also know I have enough OCD that I gotta clean this up.
Yeah, so it's like a
win-win.
A mix.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
So you love to dress up.
Love it.
And, you know, for some people that comes at different times in life. What does your personal style mean to you? And what does finding a personal style, people out there, like, how can that increase their confidence? Or start with the first one. Like, what does personal style mean to you?
My style just lets me know I've arrived. Like, that's that thriving aspect. Like, I like to show up for the best version of me. And you don't always have, like, I just started dressing for me every day versus, like, you know how people have just clothes in their closet and they're like, one day I'm going to wear it. And then like, you look up and you're like, girl, did you ever wear it?
Yeah,
no.
I can't even fit them anymore.
Yeah,
Don't
like,
need 'em.
so I just started dressing for me. If it's going to the grocery store or going to Pilates or, like, wherever I show up, I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed.
Yeah,
I feel that.
But also I want to live up to my name. Like, I'm like, it's Jas and it's, like, spicy, but also, like, soft and cute. So I just decided to start living up to that main character. And some of my favorite TV shows, like Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Queen of the South, like, I would watch these shows and be like, they just boss up every single day. Like, Olivia Pope shows up.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why can't
those shows down?
Yeah, like, in there they have such main character energy. So I just started to be like, show up as main character energy. And from there, like, I've never had a moment where someone was like,
what are you wearing?
How dare you be overdressed?
Yeah.
And they felt the way of anything. They were like, oh my God, I love your outfit.
And want to probably dress up more, you know?
Like, it's like you have an excuse. Today is February 19th. put on some clothes when you go outside.
Exactly. It's cold.
It gives
put on
that.
a nice little beanie. You'll be adorable.
It gives that too,
Yeah.
like when you show up in your fits. So
Yeah.
it's working.
We have a game for you.
Okay.
You could act more excited about it.
So I'm not a big game person. I tell people all the time, like, I tell guys, I don't play no games.
Well,
I
that's a
don't
whole
play
different
no games.
scenario
I don't
here.
play games.
This one's
Yeah.
adorable. You'll like this one. Cher did this one, so you'll like this one.
Okay.
You're familiar with Vogue?
Yes.
Are you familiar with?
I love Vogue stuff.
What's the actual thing?
I don't know what it's called.
Looks in Reverse or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
I guess just
yeah,
you know.
what Cher did essentially, she had a book full of all of her most memorable
Looks.
outfits.
Okay.
And she went through and she just explained what I was feeling at this time, what inspired this look, something
Oh my
along those
God.
lines.
Okay.
So we've picked out some of your favorites, some of our favorites. And we
Okay.
just want you to just scroll and explain
The look.
how you were feeling.
Like her. Do I have to show it to them?
No, we'll
Well,
put
show
it in
it,
the
yeah.
episode.
Okay. This one was okay. So this is shorts, the coochie cutter shorts. I gotta say it
love
like
you
that.
call them
When I
that.
saw it though, I was like,
Dang.
yes.
Yeah.
You know.
With the pockets on the side and everything.
Yeah. So it's the coochie cutter shorts. It's so in style. A fitted top and a long black coat. And then the tights. So this look, I've been trying to play with the fun, flirty personality side of me. So when I'm recording, I really love to give the people something.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But also this was Valentine's Day. So I also was like, let's put your heart and soul into this one. So yeah, I just like, and you got to have a long coat because it like
was also
emphasizes
cold a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that
If
one.
you didn't have a long coat, I don't know.
Yeah.
There were many ways to have done this, but I'm also really thick.
Yeah.
So like,
Not
if the
to
people
talk
don't know,
about it.
I'm dragging a wagon. But yeah, okay. The denim on denim. I love denim on denim. I think it's such a amazing trend. I also love as a woman being able to wear oversized
Oh yeah.
and like the boyfriend jean kind of look and like still being sexy. Like I think it's so like beautiful and confident and just like dope when a woman can like be oversized and you're like, oh yeah, I love that.
I actually love that denim on denim too. That I like the boyish.
Yeah.
I think guys like it too.
Yeah, man,
Guys
most
do.
of-
Like,
Yeah.
they like it. We have this like I genuinely believe less is more. I
Mhm.
think women who can, and granted, we can be sexy and show everything, but when you can show like just your neck, like a little bit of your neck, and that like that is so sexy to be like clothed and still have this allure to you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, the white. Oh, you guys love the white on white.
Yeah.
That was different for me.
Yeah.
Skirts are hard to wear.
Why are you calling it white on white? Is that not a set?
It's cream. No, they're two different.
Really? Wow, I would
The more
not
you
have
know.
known.
Yeah, I'm really good at trying to make a set. Like when I get down
Match
to
your
the
colors,
detail
yeah.
of matching my colors.
No, I thought
is
you
a
brought
thing.
that together.
Yeah.
Not
So this one was different for me because I'm usually very simple like structure of an outfit, and I really wanted to like do something out of the box. So this long, it was like a denim skirt with the top. Yeah, it was different.
It was so cute.
It was really tight and really uncomfortable, but it gave what
You
it
got the
needed to
picture,
give. Yeah.
You know?
The brown set, that was like probably my favorite. I got the most amount of compliments and everything. That's that manly like set. It was oversized.
Corduroy.
Yeah, but it was like the cleavage, like I buttoned it at the top, but left like if a boob could slip, it was ready.
Mhm.
Please slip.
Yeah.
I dare you.
But that's my personality. Like my style is my personality. Like she's about business, but
Mhm.
that fun flirty side, she
If I
wants
turn
to
too
play.
fast.
Yeah, she wants to play all the time. She says hi. Oh, the green satin.
Yes. I love this one. This one was honestly my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
This I wore for New Year's. I just think I really liked the material, like the comfiness, the coziness. It gave just like
Yeah,
like
it
it
felt
wasn't
like
too much.
loungewear, but still fancy.
Elevated
like I could have
loungewear,
gone
yeah.
to sleep in this, but you never would have seen me in it otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's my favorite material.
Yeah.
Satin.
Yeah.
Mine.
It's
I
an
spilled
everything
something
material.
on it. Like that's I would love that to be my favorite material, but like when I wore this, I spilled something on it and it's like, dang, I look like a 3-year-old.
No, I feel
Can't
that.
find their mouth.
It's like, oh, great, now I need a bib.
Dribble it.
What do you know? Yeah.
So yeah.
Last but not least,
The black on black leather. This was also not a set, but I paired it
you're
together.
blowing me because I really thought that these were bought together.
So this jacket was
Wow.
from Rent the Runway,
Mhm.
and these pants were from Zara circa like 2017, and I've had them and they're oversized. But of course, so what's funny? My god sister reached out like, I need those pants, and I was like, Kate, they're not gonna fit you the way they fit me because I'm thicker. So it's like, but that's
know your
true.
limits, woman. Yeah.
So I was like, they're gonna fit loose on you, and it's gonna have this baggy look. Versus for me, it looks fitted, and they're kind of short. Like I'm short, so they look
They're gonna be
like
capris on somebody
yeah,
else.
they're gonna be capris on someone else with the coat. I love this look, and it's probably one of my favorite. It's around the holidays. It was just like leather has not always been my favorite, but for in this moment, I just was like, I'm her.
It worked.
Mhm.
Yeah. The hair, everything. I was like, you can't tell me nothing.
And I think my favorite thing about the fits that you pull up in is your shoe game. Like today's shoes, flash them for me. They're gorgeous. I love them. But like especially in this black leather fit, these silver.
The bedazzled.
When you walked in to like record your podcast, I was immediately like, "Oh, you dressed up for me. How did you know silver's my favorite?"
Yeah, she did. I was like, well, I didn't, but Dylan, we learn something new every day.
Exactly.
I like if you remember like Sex in the City or
Yeah.
Girlfriends, like
Yeah.
have we paid attention to their style? They just used to show up.
They did.
And it was like, what is going like not with your fur and your boots or your dress and the heels. So like I want to get back to that. Like let's put the love. I know casual is super cool and like sneaker game. Love that world for y'all, not me.
I just think fast fashion just took over.
Oh, absolutely.
And then everybody just started dressing like
what's trending in the
bums.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to say bums, but bums. When my summer fits, most of the time, it's a extra large men's t-shirt and a pair of shorts that you're not going to see under them.
It's just so
I'm
hot.
dresses all the time.
Mm-mm.
Dress in a heel.
Yeah.
I'll have my suit game on point, but
No, I'm taking notes. Taking notes. So
Writing extensively.
you know, from personal style to intentional living to wellness to professional life, if you can go back in time and talk to young Jas, what would you say to her about where you are now? And
I would just remind her like the stories you used to tell yourself. Oh my God, they came true. Like the dreams you used to lay in your bedroom and like make up little mysteries. Like, oh my God, they came true. And thank you for spending time doing that. Thank you for being the dreamer, the writer, the like curious, strong little girl you were. Because she, like, I connect with her to this day. Like, thank you.
cute.
Gosh.
I love.
Little Jasmine. It's little Jasmine and big Jazz.
Jasmine. Oh my! I really was thinking that your whole name was just Jas.
I created an like alter ego identity. So if you know me, like my family, sometimes they call me Jazz, but it's usually Jasmine.
Yeah.
Closest friends, like college, will be like Jasmine. I was doing business with a friend from college, and he introduced me in the meeting as Jasmine. And after I was like, "Yo,
Don't call me that.
Gross. Don't do that.
we
again.
Don't call me that.
don't tell them that's not my business
Mhm.
name."
Mhm.
Which it's more like it differentiates you. That's where you got to have those personal styles and all of this, because now I get like at work when I have my name as Jazz, like there's times people don't know if I'm a man or a woman, and it's weird because like people just create their own idea if they don't see a face to a name. Some people pronounce it wrong because it doesn't have the Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so exotic and I love it. Like it tells my personality, like, don't put me in a box and don't you dare don't put any expectations on this.
Yeah, I can relate to that so hard as a person with a unisex name. And every time we bring this up, I go, thank you, Mom and Dad, for settling on this name, because there are definitely opportunities that I've gotten. Being someone named Dylan, they don't see my face. They just see my name. And then I'll show up and they're like, that's not who I thought you were. I'm like,
hi, it's
weird.
me, but I'm already here. Thanks.
Hi, it's me. I'm 5'3" and blonde.
Yeah.
Not however tall you thought I was and a guy.
Yeah, with pink tips. There we go. Yeah,
she always has tips. They just change colors.
Yeah, I think they were blue at some point, right?
At one point. I did purple too. I've settled on this pink though. I appreciate it more.
And color matching.
Yeah, that's not on purpose. I got this sweater like 7 years ago before I even began doing pink. This is just what happened today.
It's like cold.
It's so cold. I thought I was going to die coming in. My car was like, it's 16. My windshield cracked more because the temperature plummeted so fast.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They did say it was like -2 or something.
Yeah, the windshield was like -4. I'm like, are you trying to kill me? Is that what this is?
I said no.
All right, Jas. We've reached the end, and it has been absolutely fantastic talking to you and getting to know more about you in a context that I could have asked you on my own, but this was much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Now all the people can be in my business.
Exploit your image for our gain. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can share it to my people and they'll be like, oh, I learned something new about you.
Exactly.
And it makes people love me even more. That's what it is. They're like, she's actually fun and down. That's she's one thing person. I get before we end is like, some people will see me and think like she's super uptight or she's bougie. And I'm like, I am down to earth and will crack a joke in the minute. I'm not serious. Like life is not meant to be that serious all the time. I'm super chill. I just like to be dressed and presentable. That's it.
Yeah. You dress good, you look good, you feel good.
It's like confidence is intimidating.
Yeah. So,
but hey,
for the last couple of things, where can we find you? What events are you hosting later that we could see you at? And what do you need the audience to know before we let you go?
So one, you can follow me at Jas, JASSKIRK on Instagram. You should also follow HunniDuoe, HUNNIDUOE on Instagram or .com it and go to the website. Follow Comfortable Conversations on all social media podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Music. And lastly, if you follow my personal page, I'm having a ball and I'm living my best life. And I genuinely share from a place of like authenticity. So you get the real. If you're following HunniDuoe, just keep up with the brand. We're beginning we've always stayed connected to community. This next iteration is the podcast. I wanted to give you guys tangible things to be inspired with, but next will be products. And then when you talked about events, we will host 5 events this year. You got to follow the pages to get to the events.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave a little bit of secrecy in that one, but I'll find out.
You got to stay connected to get connected.
There we go. Give it to them.
All right.
All right, guys. This has been the Studio Source. We'll see you next time.